Right on schedule. Brother man.
Oh, what's going on? What's up? What are you doing?
Good, good. How are you? How was your Mother's Day? The weekend?
Oh, good. Yeah. No, it was good. Saw the fam, went out for some lunch and stuff, and did the usual. Nothing crazy. It was good. Places were busy.
Nice.
Food was good. Ate way too much. Went home and passed out for like 3 hours afterwards. Like just absolutely comatose. So that's all right. Oh,
Well,
last week was a little. Last week was a little bit of a indulgence week. A lot of going out and eating and some drinking, but that's all right. Got to rein it back in.
yeah, there's nothing
Next,
wrong with that, you know. I mean,
no, I've been super serious for a little while, but you know how it is. A little blow off week, so this week will start. Well, today's already been pretty serious. Just lock it back in for the next like 4 weeks, right before the old summertime, rolling into June. What's that message? That's nothing. That's you. Yeah, I talked to John. I saw him on Friday and everything about I'm not sure before you get out if it works out on one of these Fridays into Saturdays. Um if you still want to try and do that Mount Washington.
I
Um
can try. I mean, it's getting pretty tough as the weeks go by. Yeah,
yeah, not a lot of weeks left.
yeah, because I'm trying to finalize all the stuff that I need to do. Like even this weekend was a pretty busy weekend. So it's I have to play, it, um, day to day. So just kind of put me in pending. But just because, like I said, I'm trying to finalize a few things. It's I know how it usually pans out. I go right to the last day, so
Yeah.
it all depends when. A lot of it too is just I have to wait for stuff.
Yeah,
It's not
you're waiting to hear back, see about people's schedule and everything, right?
yeah. But otherwise, but yeah, just pencil me in. Is is his fa-
Um
is his family okay? How's he doing?
Yeah, everything's good now. Everything kind of, obviously we had to change some plans, change some stuff around, but everything's good there. Um, he cleared stuff with the other fam, like we were good to use the condo and everything. So if we went up on a Friday night, we can crash up there, um, and then hike it that Saturday. So it'd be like most likely just a Friday night into a Saturday hike, eat a little food up there, whatever, and then head back. That would probably be my kind of timeline of it. So yeah, a Friday night and a Saturday would basically be what would be needed to be free.
I'll try to get as many things done. Well, I'm just trying to hammer away right now.
So
Stuff. So
definitely wouldn't be this weekend. It would maybe be like the 21st or the 28th would probably be the weekend.
okay.
Um,
Did any other people sound interested?
no, I think I can reach out and see how it is, but nah, I don't think so. Um, I don't think too many people were. So that's a little bit of a hike. I mean, I'm not sure who would be able to actually knock it out really reasonably.
Well, I mean, if it's an all day thing, I mean that's like physically that's a lot of commitment.
Physically, it's a little bit of commitment. I mean, I don't mind like going a little bit slower and stuff, of course, but at the same time, like we can't take like 8 hours to get up or anything, you know.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there's only so much daylight.
yeah, exactly. Like they say the total thing I think is 8 hours, but that's like up and back.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, you want to probably try and do it at a slower pace in 5 or so, right? Maybe it takes you total up and back 10 hours or something.
Yeah.
Um, which is reasonable. But yeah, you don't want it to be taking you, like 12 hours up and back, 14 hours up and back. That's, I mean, there's, barely enough light in the day for that. So, like, you gotta, you gotta keep a reasonable pace.
Yeah.
Uh, to get up and down and stuff. But yeah, now if we can squeeze that in, I think that'd be a cool last little thing before you head out. Mexico's still a little up in the air. Just been having a lot going on with, honestly, just enjoying myself around here a little bit as much as I can, which has been fun. No
Yeah.
complaints on that. Nice to be able to say that, which has been great. Definitely would still love getting down there for a month or so. But it's a little up in the air right now as far as timing goes. But that's kind of all the way, always how it is a little bit with setting stuff up, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's up in the air, and then it's like, oh, and you book a flight, 3 weeks out, and you're like, okay, looks like this is when we're going.
Well, with that being said, though, there's in Ecuador. So obviously, I spoke with Sophia over the weekend, and apparently, the cases of people being sick has dropped. That's what I heard. That's what she told me. So
Okay, interesting.
again, I mean, who knows what all this kind of stuff means? Um, it's real. How many times have we said it? I mean, we beat it to death, but honestly, it's like every week there's something new, to the whole thing. I watched a piece of news yesterday. Falsey, I met Fauci. Um, talked about talked about that I guess there might not be requirement to wear a mask indoors, indoor venues in the U.S.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome thing. I'm sure a lot of people are very eager to go to these places and hang out and not having to feel like they have to
I
cover
mean,
up.
if you look at the US as a whole, because it's so big, right? There's a lot of places that are, for a while now, not masking. Venues are pretty open. They're putting a lot of people together and everything, and they seem to be doing okay, right?
Well, I know some of the statistics or the data showing about Texas is they have very low infection rates and low death rates.
They
So
got that, they were open wide up. Yeah, there was some spikes and everything, but they kind of fought through it, and now they're like, oh, yep, we're kind of okay right now.
yeah, and I don't know. Uh, there was a show on Spotify with Joe Rogan talking about like, oh, again, Falsey, I meant Fauci was talking about, oh, the question came up, oh, why have the records, why has the data showed in Texas where the infections and deaths have decreased? And he's like, oh, it's just because they've been following the mandates and whatnot. and and Joe Rogan is like, yeah, I don't think he's been to Texas or seen like what's going on.
I've been to Texas. Let me tell you, that is not here. That is not Rhode Island. That is not Massachusetts. Trust me. And that was in Austin, which was still being a bit more restrictive than other areas, right?
hmm
Um, they were still having some of their own local mandates. It's already told you a lot of the places were kind of still doing the distancing, the mask requirement, and everything, depending on where you were. There was large swaths that were not in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I've been to Texas. If you're going by the federal regulations and guidelines, let me tell you, that's not the case. That is firsthand not the case. So I actually did hear something. I mean, sure, you might have heard it, or other people might have heard it, but it was like a funny nickname for the vaccine. Someone was just like, "Oh, did you go get your Fauci ouchie for the shot?" The Fauci ouchie. It's so stupid, and that one got me. So I heard that one, I laughed.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is pretty ridiculous, and you know, um, I'm just glad that at least in the media level, right? Um, if you're watching the news and things like that, oh, seems like things are starting to lighten up. But I'm not holding my breath for any of this because who knows
No.
tomorrow there'll be something new, or some type of zombie apocalypse that we have to that we have to deal with.
So there's a good chance that I don't even have anything booked as far as like Mexico or anywhere come May 20th, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the date for Ecuador. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because if I don't have anything booked by then, and they're like, yeah, we're like all these cases drop, like we're not doing this again, and we open right back up,
Hmm.
then maybe that swings Ecuador back into a quick discussion, not for a super long time, but for a month, go down a couple weeks in Montanita, a week or two over at the Galapagos and check that out.
Yeah.
That could definitely still be an option.
Like when I
I-
spoke to my mother about it, I was telling her, postpone it until July, and then because that gives me time when I arrive in the beginning of June to see what it's like out there, and because I'll be there, I'll have a quicker response time as far as any news that pops up locally that might not hit, the internet or anything like that. So,
yeah,
um, I thought that was kind of just a better thing to do, and I know that there was some commitments that her husband had in June that would have made it really difficult to get a trip planned, and then on top of the fact that, like I said, right now they're currently in curfew after 8 o'clock. Everyone's got to get home during the course of the week, and then Saturday, Sundays, you can't leave the house. So it's basically you're
yeah,
going to be entertaining yourself all day in the house. I mean, with you'll maybe locally you'll find a store that's selling beers and rum and whatever else. Um,
yeah. Well, that's still wild. You can't travel under that. You can if you had to, but if you're going for part travel, part enjoyment, and everything, that's not realistic to be doing.
yeah, yeah. For anyone that's traveling, I just don't think it would make sense. But right now, like I said, it made more sense to just postpone it. Um, you know, it might not have to be July. It could be a different time. You know what I mean? But I I, I put in July as a tentative time frame to be able to have my mother and her husband come down and hang out. And then unfortunately, Sophia's not going to be on vacation, um,
Yeah,
so at some point they're going to be on their own to some degree, and I would have to plan accordingly as far as getting my weekly routines. And, but otherwise, I'm just so happens like if you come out in July, I mean, I still want to go out to Manita and Olón, do some surfing, hang out, maybe grab some drinks, later in the evening, things like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
It's a cool spot. So if you're out there, it's gonna be fun to be able to do that. But
Yeah, the stretch for travel, whether it's maybe it ends up being there, Mexico is like looking like mid-June into July, into like mid-July, like that month stretch there. Because like I said, I want to be back for a few weeks in July. Um, and I know Pat has to be back around a few weeks into July. I'm actually probably going to text him in a little while and just be like, hey, like, what's your overall deal? Just like, are you definitely, squaring up the lease? Are we planning for like 100%, like maybe that second week of August, Tenerife? Um,
I watched a YouTube video in the VR headset Quest 2. Oh man, that place looks so cool. Like,
I know second week of August. I know you're
yeah,
definitely in for Tenerife, right? Because you're just gonna August, you're just flying back here real quick and then heading back out, right?
yeah. I might have to stay for like a month or two because I have meetings um, tentatively scheduled. Several that I do have to. Some of them are they're not scheduled, but I do have meetings uh, during that week, and obviously visit family, friends, and wherever anyone else. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I would like to go out there. Definitely for at least a couple of months.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Like definitely
Yeah,
a couple of
that's
months. There's no doubt about it. And you know what's crazy? I did watch a video. I did watch a video before you mentioned it. Like for the first time, I watched the video probably like a week or two before, and I didn't realize. I was trying to remember the name of the place, and you said Tenerife. That sounds familiar, but then I rewatched that video that I previously watched, and
mm,
yeah, the place just looks. Anyone that's watching, if you guys get a chance, watch some of the videos on Tenerife. That place just looks. I mean, it just looks amazing. You know,
it looks gorgeous. Beaches are gorgeous. Mountainside, everything around the cities look awesome. Um, it looks like it's got a little bit of everything that you're looking for.
you know what's interesting though, right? Because you know how it's right off the coast of the Moroccan desert, down in the
Yeah.
Saharas. One of the things that I noticed was that on the videos was there's some parts that look like jungles, and it might have to be like where it faces based what side of the mountain that it
Hmm.
faces. Because like one side it looks like it's more desert, and then the other side looks like it's tropical, unless it's one of the other islands or things like that. So I think that might be. Um, it looks like it's got a wide array of different types of landscapes that I think is just going to be absolutely really cool just to see. Um, and remember what I told you before. We can't hike up to the summit of the volcano right away. We have to book in like advance by at least a couple of months. Um,
Yeah, they don't just let people just go up. Yeah, you got it's got to be a planned trip and everything.
so if anyone's out there that's planning to go to Tenerife or planning to maybe meet up with us while we go out there, the mid to end of August timeframe is the time frame that we're looking to go. But if you have been there, please let us know what your experience is with the place because we'd like to you know get some feedback firsthand from someone who's actually experienced the place. I think that'd be really cool to know a little bit more about. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think right now for me, like I'm I'm anxious, but I'm also like because I have so many things to do before I go on this trip again, and that's usually what
Yep.
it is. It's just there's so many things to kind of finish up, get done, and then on top of that, um, you know, when when I do have to leave, it's like it's just gonna happen really fast. It's one of those. Sometimes I always feel like I'm behind the eight ball. Sometimes leading up to the day of travel. But again, I think it's just a combination of like excitement, like I'm excited to be able to go, and then but also nervous about like, oh man, am I gonna finish all these things that I need to finish before before I head out?
No,
But
I completely feel the same. I'm in this like sorry, just adding some stuff. It's like this. I'm getting a little set here and I like it because I've been having a good time. Seeing friends, doing stuff around here has been good. Uh, so I'm getting that kind of like settled feeling and I like it. It's nice because you obviously, back home, you want to still be able to enjoy yourself and everything.
for
But I'm
sure.
also like getting that, like, I don't want to get too settled because I know my goal is to get out and really be going.
Hmm.
But with the constant for the past couple months, like, oh, it's supposed to be going, supposed to be going, supposed to be going, it's like screwing with my mindset a little bit of like, all right, well, it's like it's beating me down, like, oh, looks like, well, you're just not going. And now I'm getting settled here and I don't want to feel settled. I want to get going. So I'm gonna need to start getting something in the works to kind of shake off that little bit of not lethargy, complacency, I guess would be the best term for it.
Mm.
Um, Shake that off and just get ready to get going and head out. So yeah, I'm actually gonna text Pat in a little bit after this call, real quick on my way to the gym. Text him and see what the overall kind of situation is for him, timing, what he really wants to do. Do we kind of just forego June and July, I don't know if I really want to do that. Do we try and do something stateside? I mean, stateside is still great. There's some awesome places around here, right?
Hmm.
Um, but you know how it is stateside, especially traveling right now. Stateside, if any place that you're going that's actually open and a good time, prices are through the roof. Flights are up. Airbnbs are wicked expensive at all these spots because these are destination places right now of people everywhere else trying to get out and go.
Mm.
So, then do we maybe just look at the international? Maybe do we pop down to the Mexico real quick? I don't know. I don't have any great answer for it, but I'm going to see kind of where he stands and try and sort out his timing on if he's definitely wrapping up that lease and going.
So basically, he's going to be literally nomading. No apartment to go back
That's what
to.
that's what his set plan was. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, that's what it is right now. Um, and then of course, like it's fully in the works that I discussed before. Like the parents are coming to my place, my establishment here, which is awesome. I'm gonna love seeing them. But from it's gonna be definitely a different dynamic for own personal space and everything.
Mm,
Um,
sure.
being able to hang out with friends during the week and different stuff. It's gonna be a little we'll say changed a little bit. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. It's not a bad
Is
thing. It's just part of life, just the way that it goes.
you know what you're gonna
Uh,
have to do because it's your place. Like if your mother goes out, I mean, yeah, if your mother goes out, your stepfather goes out, you're like, you better be back by 12, or you're gonna get in trouble.
yeah, it's gonna be a change for that one. Definitely have a list of things I'm gonna square away up here and stuff. But yeah, that's most. I would say the latest that happens is like July 1st. Well, is probably going to be the latest that would happen, excluding something completely changing plans or anything. But somewhere between that June 1st and July 1st, that's going. So that's close.
Mm,
That's really close. That's going to be um, very different, we'll say.
yeah. No, I think it's gonna be a good thing. It's gonna be different, but eventually, I always feel like once you're in the groove, just like anything else, it just becomes like a normal thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it'll be just is right. Just this is just the way it is.
Yeah. Anyone else got any feedback in regards to that? Um, you know, that type of lifestyle. If you guys are making any pretty dramatic changes as far as living situation and things, we'd like to hear from you. Um, I guess I mean I like to consider that this channel is more of a lifestyle channel, right? Because we're talking about a lot of our personal lives. I mean, obviously there is the kind of travel situation, but realistically being, there are things that need to be taken care of when traveling. One of those situations is like, well, where are you going to stay when you come back, or where do you pick up your mail? Like
Oh yeah.
it's you'd be it's kind of funny because the traveling itself, it seems like it's just the traveling part, but uh, there's a lot of things at home that need to be taken care of, um, before any of that stuff really takes place, or where you can travel for an extended period of time. Because for instance, like if there's some situation where you need to get a call from the state government or federal government, they got to be able to reach you somehow, and you got to be able to connect with them, and whatever else, or with if you have coworkers or something, like we can't be hiking out in the middle of
No.
nowhere all the
No.
time. So there are certain limits overall, but overall it's once all those types of things are squared away, it's a lot easier to mobilize, or a lot easier to kind of travel freely without feeling the pressure of like, oh crap, I totally forgot, to pay um, my mortgage or my rent or things like that. Where it sounds like with Pat, I mean, he's eliminating that one process, or that additional thing that he had to worry about before,
Yeah.
which is huge. It's huge when especially with traveling. If I don't want to say eliminate responsibilities, but at least reducing the stress that's involved with having, um,
Just
responsibilities that
well, just
happen to be there.
streamlining all that stuff that you think like you need or and everything, or just don't have a process for. Like streamlining all that and having it all set up where you can kind of just go, which is kind of where I'm at now. It makes honestly being back home on the day to day like super routine, super boring because I'm already set up to like be
Mm,
able to manage and do my stuff anywhere at any time.
mm,
That when I'm at home, it's like crap. I actually really don't have anything to do. Like I have work and I have like
yeah, yeah.
your regular stuff, but all the little things like little extra this or that, like it's all done. All my what am I like wearing? All my like attire and things like that. It's all slimmed down. Like, all right, I have like these 10 different things that I wear. Like, which one of it is it going to be today? Like, oh, looks like we're putting on this t-shirt and these jeans. That sounds perfect. Just all the extra like little things, getting rid of stuff. Like when you're actually just settled back at home, I have a little bit of free time, not going to lie. Once the regular work is done and the little bit of chores of just picking up the place and grabbing some groceries is squared away, it's like, okay, we're free now. What are we going to do?
Yeah, I think that's one of the great skills about being able to travel and being able to travel light. I think is one of the things that's improved kind of the day to day processes, right? Like I feel like after traveling extensively in a different place and taking on, essentially you don't really take on a different routine, but because you have a limited amount of things that can be brought, it's like you do have to kind of run a little bit more lean, you know, doing things because there are, it's like, oh, if I had a coffee maker, you know, it's easy to bring that, to bring that around.
Yeah.
I know some people that I've met during my travels would always carry one of the Italian percolators, to make espressos
Yep.
all the
Yep.
time. We just would carry it, and there's like certain things that we take with us in the travels that we obviously need, not including things like work and clothes and stuff, but just like, oh, this person would bring their coffee, their espresso maker, which is basically, forgetting the name of the brand, but it's a Brazilian brand. Like I said, the Italian percolator where you steam the water from the bottom and then it rises up and then fills.
Yeah. I have one. I can grab one for you. It's sitting on my stove.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know what I'm talking about. Great way to enjoy a coffee. But
Yeah.
this,
It's about this big. It's got two seals, little metal filter, water in the bottom. Burp, 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 put it on the stove, percolates up, pour it, done.
yeah, and so there's a lot of that kind of stuff that happens, but people end up not bringing so much stuff, especially when you're traveling, one, for an extended period of time, and two, just not having to deal with a lot of stuff in the first place. So I think, you come back home and it's like, you know everything's just super efficient because develop that new skill and that new habit of not having to deal with too many things.
Yeah, I make simpler meals. They're still good and delicious and everything, but I'm not making meals that require a whole ton of different stuff.
Mm.
Um, a simple little starch, some protein, some veggies, and like, all right, it's too easy. So you realize all the extra stuff that you have, and like, just you don't actually quite really need it. Don't get me wrong, it's some of it's nice to have, but after you get used to just not really using it or having it, like the stuff in my closet like hasn't moved in forever. Like there's just not like I actually generally just wear and
Yeah.
use basically all the stuff that I would just travel with. The only thing I probably use extra back home is like I use a few extra t-shirts and stuff to work out rather than like maximizing my t-shirt usage because I'm actually at home. I don't have to worry about that. Like, yeah, I'll swap extra t-shirts and stuff for like workout and everything. But besides that, I'm really wearing basically like the same stuff that I would travel with anyways.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
couple hoodies, like one or two dress shirts, the fresh clean tees,
Mm.
same couple pairs of jeans. that's it. Wardrobe's done. That's it.
Yeah, and like I actually, so it's funny. So obviously, like I've been more settled in Ecuador, so I've actually left a bunch of clothes there and brought back only a handful of clothes. So there's literally only like 4 or 5 rotations of clothes that I have. Like, oh,
Yeah,
something to wear to bed, something to wear during the course of the day, and then one or two clean button down shirts, and two pairs of one jeans and one pair of khakis, and that was it.
yeah.
So, and I love it. I love it. It's packing light.
Super simple.
Yeah.
I do. I have my one load of laundry a week. It's like almost the same load every week. Whoop, throw it in, wash it
Yeah.
up next week.
And I don't know about you, but after doing that, after traveling for an extended period of time, and you come back, and like I said, there's it's like you free up a little bit more time because everything is done more efficiently, and there's less clutter. Um, I always I just find it to be like a huge relief to not be you know, burdened by certain things. It's like, oh, like the wants and needs start to kind of shift a little bit. And I think it's one of those things that when traveling is when you really, when someone really starts to understand it and pick up on it. Because it's one of those things that we could, you know, continuously talk about it, but unless someone kind of gets in the groove and goes into that mode of like, oh, I'm going to travel very light, especially with the people that travel and stay at hostels and things like that, always traveling very light, and they have just a very efficient way of how they do things. And typically, I mean, even though it might seem like everyone does like random events and things like that, for the most part, um, people that are traveling light or travel for an extended period of time have a pretty solid schedule that they, or relatively um, tight schedule that they follow, or something that keeps them grounded. And the video froze there a little bit. Can you hear me, Cruz? Oh, okay. All
I'm
right.
back. Yeah, router just reset real quick. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
So, anyone in the crowd out there, are there things that you guys do when you travel, or actually, I had several of my sisters actually. One of them went down to Florida, and the other went to North Carolina, I want to say, or South Carolina. So they drove down. So I thought it was pretty cool. Um, going on a little road trip,
Yeah,
and that's quite a ways too. That's not a small drive.
no, Florida's like 20 hours to get down there straight.
Oh yeah,
Um,
if you want to do 20 hours, whew, that's
and
brutal.
then even North Carolina is 12 or so,
Yeah,
right around there.
it's at least halfway.
Um, the South Carolina Georgia stretch of that drive is the longest. You're in those two states forever.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, stateside is still definitely viable for stuff. But like I said, right now, everybody in the US is trying to get out and go. If you're anywhere around, like you're heading down to Florida, you're heading down to Texas, that's just like where everybody is running to get out and go on adventures. So heading back down there and stuff is not super cheap. You're going to be paying a little more right now, whether it's flights, Airbnbs, everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the encouraging thing is that people are going out, they're enjoying themselves, and there's, in Florida, there's no requirement to wear a mask. It's completely up to the person, that goes to these places. But I was saying before, my sister went out to Florida, and I was speaking to my nephew when he was out there, and I asked him if he was going to go out to Disney World, and he was like, "Oh, we can't. It's just packed. Like they're,
Oh,
it,
packed.
yeah." Which is, again, it's nice to hear that people are going out, they're enjoying themselves, and I'm fortunate for my nephew, and and my sister's family, for not being able to go to the park, because that's always a fun time, I think, both for adults and kids. I don't know if you've ever been to Disney.
I have. I've actually gone a little more than somebody should go. It was
But dude, that's totally all right, because My first time ever. I've been to Disneyland a long time ago as a kid, but my first time ever going to Disney World, dude, I was in my 30s, and I absolutely loved it. It was like, I was a kid at a candy store. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
it was like a super stereotypical family trip, like every year. I went every year until I was probably, I think the first year I missed and didn't go with them, I was like 21.
yeah.
Yeah, I went for like 15 straight years or something
Oh, okay.
with them. And then
Nice.
mom continued on with my younger sisters. She went a foolish amount of time. Um, yeah, it was just always every year. That was like the one like trip that we definitely went on as like the family vacation every year. It was a blast. We always stay. Disney does a great job. I mean, like them, love them, hate them, whatever you want to think about the company, Walt, this, that. Who knows? You know what? They put on a really decent experience. It's a lot pricier than it was a while ago. Their prices have definitely crept up significantly, but just their setup, their cleanliness, their catering to people, everything about it, like they really do go like all in on trying to provide people the best experience possible. Are there some times that you don't get it? Yeah, of course. But they're really overall try and go above and beyond providing people with an amazing experience there.
Yeah, I think as an adult, right? Um, one, I think I think part of it that was kind of the magical side of it was just how much goes into all that. You know,
Oh,
between
the
it,
amount of employees and logistics and everything that they have going on is wild.
yeah, it's if anyone has not been to Disney World or Disneyland and haven't had the luxury, I'll say it's a wonderful luxury. I
It
would
is it has reached the point now where it is a
yeah,
little bit of a luxury to go to
yeah.
Disney.
But to be honest, it is kind of a quintessential American thing to do. Is to at least experience Disney at least once in the lifetime because
Yeah.
it really does um, complete all the check boxes as far as what the experience is. Because like I said, between you could if you just look at some of the finer details of what they do there, on an engineering basis, on the employees that work there, the all the different shows, you know, and this happens throughout the day. It's very well organized, very well, it's very well orchestrated, and I never got the sense that people that work there were not having fun. The people that I
Yeah.
experienced it, like they seemed like they were just having a blast, whether it was someone playing, one of the Disney characters for the cartoons, or people that were working the parts where the rides are. I just always got the sense that people were just having a good time. Uh, and again, I believe it's like one of the quintessential kind of experiences to have if anyone goes out to the U.S. Or if you live in the U.S. and you've never been. It's really try to go when it's not super busy, like during the summertime. Like go like during the winter where it's where people aren't traveling there as much. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, I experienced it as an adult, and I absolutely just loved it. It was just so much fun. And I went with a friend, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know if you'll like it, and whatever else." And I was telling her, I was like, "Listen, like this is awesome. Like,
No, it's a cool place even
yeah,
as an
this is
adult to
awesome.
go and see. It
Yeah,
really is. There's so many places to eat. There's just so much there. There's just so stinking much there going on. Um, that it would probably take you to go on like all the rides and see all the stuff. If you were like really trying, I think it would probably take you like 2 weeks straight
oh yeah.
to try and to get through all the stuff.
Well, they got all the new Star Wars stuff too. I just realized what the last couple
I don't
years.
even I don't even think that would be catching every show. There's certain shows that are like better than others that we always try and recatch or always tried to recatch and everything. But if you're trying to catch all the shows at all the places and everything, good luck.
Oh yeah, that's That would probably be a pretty cool thing to attempt.
Like,
To attempt.
I don't even. It would take a while to get to all of them.
So that would be an interesting bucket list activity to do. Try to go to all the shows at Disney.
That would be a project. That would be a tough one.
So I want to jump subjects here, and so there was a few quick discussions actually today during our text message with several friends, and one of the things that kind of
Which
struck.
one? What did What did I say?
Uh,
What do we?
no, it wasn't you. It was one of our buddies. Is like, oh, it's really hard to get to the moon. Um, I don't know if anyone has been following any of that kind of stuff right now, but so if everyone's been if people that are watching, if you guys have been aware, this weekend was a big weekend for SNL in a long time. I haven't really watched much SNL in a long time, but Elon Musk was on there, and there was a lot of hype. I'm not. There was a lot of hype leading up to it,
A lot of
and
hype.
and
A lot of bag holders out there.
yeah. So if any of you were the bag holders, I feel sorry. I apologize for that. Uh, you know,
I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I told you so.
so um, one of the things, so a basic kind of unwritten rule is, you know, buy the hype, sell the news type of situation, and essentially that's what happened. And
The news was on Saturday. The hype was the week leading up.
and so it's teetering, it's stable, but one of the things that drives, I guess, Doji Coin, right, is that it's the major holders. I think like 80%, somewhere in the 80% of of holders, or excuse me, are only like 5 to 10 people,
Yeah.
um, and those could very well be institutions like Robinhood, right? So they could have unloaded kind of leading up to that day. However, um, it might still have some staying power because the last I saw, I mean, it was going down a little bit. It was going down a little bit, but
I just checked it. It's down to 46 cents.
all right. So that's kind of where it was over the weekend. So um, so I'm sure there's probably a handful of people out there that were. I was one of them, I'll admit, but I was not a bag holder, or I should say that I didn't lose any money, but
Ah,
um, so anyone that was out there that was in that gamut, um, it was a fun little ride. There was a lot of things. Um, Again, I don't know if any people have been watching SNL. I watched. I was listening to some of their skits, and I don't know. It's just like I just feel like they fell off a cliff, just entertainment wise. I
they
get
haven't
more.
been good. I mean, they haven't been good in years. They forgot what funny is.
I get more entertainment, and I literally laugh out loud watching regular people do videos on TikTok. I believe that.
It's
The,
way better comedy than what SNL puts out right now.
oh,
They forgot what being funny is. They got too caught up in other crap and forgot just like, yo, you guys are comedians. Just be funny. Do stuff that's actually funny.
yeah. So I've told you before, and actually one of our buddies, in our text message group, called me on it because I sent like on some days I sent a bunch of TikTok videos. Part of it's because
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
just for me they're hilarious. Like I'm literally laughing out loud, right? I'm like, oh crap, I gotta share this because I think it's funny, you know. But I think that's where like entertainment's evolving, and
Well, well, it's not just that. Like anybody that's like edgy and is going to take a risk and say something that might be considered a little controversial, like they're not going to SNL.
yeah,
because at one, SNL won't have them, or two, they're not going to be allowed to say stuff or say certain things that might be considered a little controversial. So all these people that have that out there, like every great comedian has always been a little controversial and said some stuff that made you go, oh, that's a little dicey. Like there's never been one of the good comedians or any good comedian that doesn't walk that line. Like that's what every comedian is, and they're not going to go to SNL under those restrictions, or SNL wouldn't even want them. So they're not getting anybody that's good. Like they're just not, and they're not putting out good skits anymore. They're done. They're dead. They're just going to keep somehow meandering on.
Yeah, it's kind of a disappointment because the I don't know, like over the course of the years, I they just continuously gotten stale, and I'm just finding that I can find a lot of entertaining things on YouTube and on TikTok, possibly even on Instagram. Although I'm not on Instagram that much, or Snapchat, but there's a whole slew of entertainment that I feel like, and if I'm looking for comedy, like I said, there's, I mean, there's some growing, like I said, regular people posting videos on TikTok, and it's like, wow, that was clever. And I one of the I think the things that makes TikTok very powerful is that it's designed on the premise that you copy somebody else, right? Or you add your own little kind of flavor to a concept.
Sure.
So it's like, whether it's the music or a type of video that people post, it's really about like, oh, what's the next thing that's popping, and then people jump on. But I know there's been some like discouraging aspects about how people have commented on some of the videos, like, oh, I saw some other person do this video. Who cares? Like, you get to see like someone's rendition of a joke that's been done, and they add their spin to it, and it's actually pretty funny, or it's great to see someone else performing a different style of what thing that's trending. So, but there's, oh man, it's exploding, as far as like what type of content that's on there, and I feel like there's some videos that have actually um, gone longer than 3 minutes on TikTok, because before they had a hard limit of 1 minute max, and
Mm-hmm.
one video was like 3 minutes that I watched. So they're definitely evolving, and I'm seeing some of that evolution kind of take place as I watch it. So it is a source for me for entertainment, but very unfortunate with SNL just not. Uh, if I think if they, like you said, if they took more chances and not worry about some of the controversial stuff, I think they'd have a little bit more of an audience. But part of it too is just adapting to a lot of the changes that are happening, at least in the entertainment industry. People are watching the Netflix. Like I watched quite a bit of Amazon Prime. Part of it is, I never watched a lot of videos and movies on Amazon Prime until probably the last 2 or 3 months. I never took advantage of the free games that they provide, the you know um, the movies and television shows that they have. You know what? I'm already paying for this stuff on a yearly
Yeah,
basis. I'm like, I'm gonna use
absolutely.
it. And I tell you what, man, there's a lot of good stuff on there um, that they have, which I've been locked into.
They
And
put out a ton of crap. Yeah,
and,
they
and,
really do.
and they put out a lot of crap also. But I think it's a combination of you know there's a lot of different genres that can be viewed, and I'm actually impressed. Like overall, there's some good television series that I definitely got sucked into pretty easily. Which brings me to another point. Um, so if you have an Amazon Prime, or if you have any of the other these other services, and you purchase you purchase the video, um, so I'll use an example. I bought actually I don't remember what I bought, but I bought a video that I could stream on on Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah,
You can't watch some of those videos that are copywritten in the U.S. if you go to a different country. So
really.
yeah, so there's certain content if it's not Amazon Prime produced, or I should say published, it's not you're not going to be able to watch it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Anyone that's going to be traveling out of the country, that there's certain rights, copyright restrictions that you're going to run into with being able to stream content that you might have purchased from Amazon. Just kind of keep that in mind. Haven't run into any issues with Google Play, but I know Amazon Prime. There's content that I can't do that, especially ones that I purchased. But anything that the Amazon Prime has made, uh, you can actually do that.
So ran random throwback just popped into my head. So like I told you, like this past week, anyway, we've been talking about for a little bit, been like, super focused on fitness and working out and everything. We'll say the past like 8 or 9 days may have been having a little fun. We'll say a little bit. We had some Cinco de Mayo in there. We had the
It's Cinco de
Mother's
Mayo.
Day. We had a
Yeah,
couple times going out. There may have been some fair bit of snacking and some a couple tequila events mixed in over the past like 10 days or so, which is fine.
nothing
But
wrong with
again,
that.
like, yeah, no. So I'm like, all right, it's May. I'm still on my track of where I wanted to get to. And I feel like a 4 week stretch of of being like, okay, this is going to be my final push stretch. I've come down and because you don't want to go crazy, you want to come down stage a little bit. I'm kind of in like this one particular area that I can stay in really easy right now. Like I can do whatever I want for like 5 or 6 days, and then if I'm just on point for like a week, it's all completely reset, right? Just hovering in that little area. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to focus on these next 4 weeks. I'm trying to get to like a new plateau. I'm trying to shift down one notch, right?
Mm.
So actually, throwback, I was like, what's a great side that I can have all week long that's like super healthy, super light on calories, but really like nutritious and sustaining as like a big, huge side. I went back and grabbed the recipe from our ratatouille video and made a huge batch of made
Nice,
a huge batch of Randall Ritz's ratatouille that I'm eating all week long. So I
nice,
thought that was funny. I actually went back and found the video and watched the video real quick,
nice.
um,
Hey,
just to get the recipe and everything.
yeah, Randall, if you're watching, kudos to you, brother.
Yeah, I finished it up. I made it on Saturday night. I'll eat it as my like side for the whole week because I made a. It's tough to make like a small batch of it if you're going to go through the whole process. Might as well make a big batch. I mean, I'll be eating a ton of ratatouille, but you can eat a huge side of that, and there's just nothing in it. It's just zucchini. There's no extra butter. There's a little bit of oil. It's
Mm.
just like the zucchini, summer squash, peppers, fennel, onions, the garlic, crushed tomatoes. Like you can eat a huge amount of that, and it's like 200 calories, and that's having like a wild big bowl of this ratatouille. So yeah, definitely having that as my side. Went back and watched it, and you know what? It's delicious. It's wicked good.
See, for me, I'm super lazy. I can't even cook stuff like that for myself. Well, maybe
Oh yeah, no, it was Saturday night. Like this was another one of the friend was over. We were doing a little dinner. I was like, oh, you want to try and make ratatouille? So we did that as like one of the things and chopped that up while we were having tequila. So, but I ate the ratatouille after the tequila the next day as well. It actually is still good. It wasn't just a couple beverages in rating on the ratatouille. It's delicious. Highly recommended.
nice, nice. And on top of that, you're getting tons of vitamins. And so here, for me, so it's great that you're going super aggressive with the exercising and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like, in my honest opinion, for you, you don't have to go too hard. You could take a 3-day relaxation day, or 4 days, because you already have good metabolism. It's not going to affect you as much as someone who might be a little overweight and things like that, where their metabolism is a lot slower. So I don't think it's all that bad that you take a week of
No, it was good. It
enjoying.
was a nice reset. I got a lot of little treats that I wasn't having. I got got some ice cream, got lots of good little stuff. So got all those little cravings out, uh, reset, and just go have a good little run for the next couple weeks. See what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if I hope people went out there on Cinco de Mayo. I mean, I go
Oh,
to.
so can we Cinco de Mayo? I was like, all right, let's go out. So we tried going out. Mexican restaurant around here, two of them actually that are both phenomenal.
Mm,
Sold in Mexico, if you're around this area, Sold in Mexico up in Bellingham. They do an awesome job, always busy, highly recommend him. And then Condesa down in Smithfield, North Smithfield, technically, down near Bryan University.
mm,
Another awesome place. It's Cinco de Mayo was on Tuesday night, right? No, it was Wednesday night.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's Cinco de Mayo. There's probably going to be a little wait, right? It's Tuesday night. That's fine. I expect it. Hour and a half wait.
And
We didn't make
oh,
it in.
wow,
Hour and a half wait. We didn't get in. We left.
wow.
We ended up going to another spot. Um, and then the other place when we called them, like where they were like, yeah, we have a lot of people here. Like we're not taking any names. We're not even taking names on the wait list. Like you have to come here. And we
Wow.
asked and she was like, it was like really loud and crazy. We asked like 2 or 3 times, like, well, before we drive there, can you just tell us how long the wait is? She's like, oh, you have to come here to put your name on the wait. I'm like, all right, we're not getting anywhere with this. Hang up the phone. Let's go.
Wow.
So, yeah, we ended up going to some other place, which was great. We actually ended up going to Blackie's. I don't know if anybody else there, another great restaurant down in Smithfield, Lincoln area there, Blackie's. They do a phenomenal job. I
Mm,
thought they were closed forever because of the COVID. I was upset, but they did reopen about a little over a month or so ago. So it's the first time I had gone there since they reopened.
mm.
Everything is as is, quality, menu. It's all phenomenal still the same exact place. Nothing changed.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So Cinco de Mayo. I mean, I feel like every week I have a Cinco de Mayo week, because I go to my father and I go to this burrito joint called Mi Antojos.
You still go to that same Mexican place in
Dude,
downtown New Bedford?
dude, I've been going there for years, and every time I go there, I keep telling myself to try something new, but I always get the burrito de carne de asada with all the stuff inside the burrito. But I did try this new thing, so I always order a burrito, and I order horchata. It's kind of like that rice pudding drink.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Has cinnamon, it's got a lot of sugar. If anyone's ever tried, have never tried it, order it. It's so good. Um, but I ordered this thing called uh, sopes, which is house-made tortilla, and then you can have whatever meat type that you want on it. But what they use is kind of I don't know what the
Yeah,
name
it's
of the.
like it's a corn tortilla.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They put pineapples in it. They put the type of meat that you want, and
Yeah.
then big slices of onions, and then they use kind of like that cottage cheese. I don't know the name of the cheese. Super good.
Yeah, a lot of they'll use like it's like a young they call it like a young cow cheese. Like it's not hasn't been like aged very long, so it's still like really soft.
Yeah, and it's super good, and it's one of my new favorite things to order. But I always still keep getting my burrito carne asada. It's just kind of
Nice.
a general thing that I always get. So yeah, so if you guys get the chance, go out to these burrito joints. You don't have to wait until the next Cinco de Mayo to go to these restaurants. And if you're like me, you'll love beans, burritos, rice. Uh,
Love it.
you know, so make your way to this place. I think one of the great things about Mexican restaurants is that they typically provide like a lot of food, for the order. That's always kind of just a general
Yeah.
general
I
thing.
so we didn't get there. We had I did end up having Mexican on from Seoul to Mexico on Friday night, and like the dish I got is like one of the ones I get all the time. The Three Amigos. It comes with the pepper stuffed with the ground beef, carnitas,
Yeah.
and then like a sliced steak, like sort of like a carne asada, with rice and beans. And like this dish is just so stinking big. Of course, I polish off the whole thing because why not?
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we're in the hour. Do you have any
Yeah,
closing comments? I mean, that went by really fast. So
that actually went by really, really quick. I'm surprised it's already 7. Holy cow. Yeah, it's time for the gym. I'm going to go, come back, and have a little bit of my ratatouille. That's my plan for the evening. I'll be in touch. Hopefully we can, if it works out for timing and everything, I'd love to get out with you one more time to do that hike. Even if we don't do the hike, we still got to do like a little lunch or something, try and get together and everything before you head out and everything, of
oh yeah,
course.
definitely. I definitely like that. Pencil me in for the hiking. But as far as yeah, I mean, obviously the weekends are the best time for me. So and
Yeah, I'll pencil that in. And even if not, maybe we just try and do like get the guys for a little walk around Newport on a nice weekend day or something. Something like that might be fun too.
yeah,